They ordered him to eliminate the alien. He disobeyed, for love. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. Not the kind of silence that soothed you, but the kind that made every part of you clench. Lungs, fists, heart. Sergeant Cole Mercer knew this kind of silence. It usually meant something was watching. The leaves rustled above him, heavy with moisture and thick with early morning mist. This part of Oregon was supposed to be off limits. A containment zone, declared after the incident 2 months ago. That incident, of course, was top secret. What the public thought was a down-weather satellite had actually been a crash. An alien crash. Cole crouched low near a patch of ferns, his hand hovering over his sidearm. The comms in his ear crackled softly. "Mercer, you're near the target zone. Thermal says it's still there. Same position." "Copy," Cole whispered, going in silent. They'd been tracking her for weeks. She was the last one, the only survivor of whatever mission had brought her species to Earth. And now she was alone, hunted, vulnerable, and dangerous. That's what Command kept telling him. Terminate on sight. No contact. No questions. But Cole wasn't a machine. He wasn't blind either. The recon photos had haunted him. The way she looked, human-like but not. Green skin, iridescent like jade in sunlight. Hair the color of deep moss, long and wild like the forest around her. Eyes huge, luminous, framed by features that were unmistakably feminine and beautiful. And she had never attacked. Not once. Just ran, hid, avoided. Like prey, not a threat. He moved through the underbrush with practiced silence, boots gliding over roots and damp leaves. Ahead, the trees thinned slightly, revealing a small clearing encircled by towering pines. And there she was, sitting cross-legged on a flat rock, still as a statue. Her back was to him, hair cascading down her back in thick green waves. Her skin shimmered faintly in the slivers of sunlight that pierced the canopy. Cole raised his weapon. The safety clicked off with a soft mechanical whisper. But something about the way she sat stopped him. There was no fear, no defensive posture. She wasn't hiding. She was waiting. Suddenly, she turned her head. Not startled, not alarmed. Just calm. Her eyes locked on his. Bright emerald, impossibly deep. And then, she spoke. Not in English. Not in any language he recognized. But her tone was soft. Like a question. Like she knew. He froze. Finger on the trigger, but unmoving. "Please," she said, this time in perfect English. "If you're going to kill me, do it now." Her accent was strange. Musical, almost synthetic. But the words were unmistakable. Cole's heart hit his ribs like a drum. "How do you know our language?" he asked, despite himself. "I learned. Watching. Listening. The way your kind speaks, it's different. Not just the sound. The emotion." She stood slowly, carefully, and turned to face him fully. She wore what looked like a cloak of woven organic material. Bark, leaves, threads of some glowing silk. Primitive yet intricate. And beneath it, she bled green light. Faint veins of bioluminescence along her arms, her neck, her temple. She was mesmerizing. He hated himself for thinking it, for feeling it. "Why didn't you run?" he asked. "There's nowhere left to run," she said simply. "You'll find me wherever I go." A pause. Then, "I thought maybe, if I surrendered, it would hurt less." She looked down at the ground. Not with shame. With resolve. Cole lowered his weapon. "That's not how this works," he muttered. "Isn't it?" she asked. He didn't answer. He couldn't. Every protocol screamed at him. In the mission, eliminate the target. But standing here, in the stillness of this forgotten patch of forest, she didn't look like a target. She looked like someone who had lost everything. "What's your name?" he asked. "You wouldn't be able to say it," she replied. "But I like the sound of your words. Call me what you want." "All right," he said. "Then I'll call you Lyra." Her eyes widened slightly. The faintest smile touched her lips. "Lyra," she echoed. "That's nice." A sudden noise behind them made Cole turn, gun snapping back into position. Just a deer, leaping through the brush. Gone in seconds. But the spell was broken. He looked at her again, saw the scars along her side, the dirt on her cloak, the exhaustion etched into her alien frame. "You're not a soldier," he said. "I was once," she answered. "Not here. Not in this way. But I was trained to survive. To observe. Not to kill." Cole took a breath. A long one. The kind you take before everything changes. Then you and I have something in common. She tilted her head. You don't want to kill me, she said. No, he admitted. But that's not the same as being allowed not to. Their eyes locked again. Two fugitives from different worlds. One holding a gun, the other holding nothing. And for the first time, Cole realized he didn't come here to kill her. He came because he needed to know if she was worth saving. The sun was rising higher now, burning off the mist and slicing golden light through the trees. Cole kept glancing back toward the direction he came from, unsure if anyone was watching. The command satellite would still be tracking his location. He didn't have much time. Lyra stood a few feet away, watching him with quiet intensity. Not afraid, not pleading, just waiting again. They're going to check in soon, Cole said. Then what will you tell them? She asked. He didn't answer. He didn't know. The truth wasn't an option. Not yet. Come with me, he said finally. Where? Someplace off satellite. You'll be safer if we move. Lyra nodded once, a gesture more human than alien, and followed without a word. They moved deeper into the woods, Cole guiding her through terrain most locals never dared to enter. A narrow path led them past a half-collapsed ranger station, its roof sunken, overgrown with vines. Cole kicked open a side hatch and waved her in. Inside, it was dark, musty but secure. No eyes here. You've used this place before, Lyra said. A long time ago. Training ops. Before I knew we weren't the only ones in the universe. She ran her fingers along the wall, stopping at a clawed-out mark near the floor. This place remembers violence, she said quietly. Yeah, that's Earth, Cole replied. Everything here remembers violence. He opened a metal locker, grabbed an old thermal blanket, and handed it to her. She touched the fabric like it was made of silk. Why are you doing this? She asked. Because you're not who they said you are. And if I was, then I'd still want to understand why. She looked at him, long and hard, then said, Your kind kills before it understands. The words hit him like a slap. Not because they were cruel, but because they were true. Cole turned away, jaw tightening. The mission, the order, the years of training. It all told him to silence that voice inside him. The one that said she didn't deserve to die. But that voice was getting louder. I was told your species destroyed one of our satellites. That you were gathering intel for an invasion, he said. Lyra's face darkened. We didn't destroy it. Your machine struck us first. It was autonomous. We tried to communicate. It reacted with force. She sat down, her back against the wall. My people came to observe, to learn. But you are volatile. Your world vibrates with aggression. You shout more than you speak. You dominate instead of understand. Cole frowned. She wasn't wrong. What were you looking for? Patterns, she replied. Behavioral threads. Emotions. Empathy. We were studying your capacity for connection. For contradiction. Contradiction. You love fiercely. You protect your young with irrational devotion. But you also destroy everything you fear, even when it doesn't threaten you. Cole sat across from her. He didn't argue. He couldn't. Not when he'd seen the war reports, the classified files, the global panic after the crash. Then, the comm in his ear chirped sharply. Mercer, status update. Do you have visual on the target? He froze. Lyra looked at him, her expression unreadable. Mercer responded. He tapped the earpiece. Still tracking. Terrain's thick. Target is mobile. We'll confirm when in position. A pause. You have 2 hours. After that, drone sweep begins. The line went dead. They're coming, Lyra said. Yeah. You should leave me. If they find us together. I'm not leaving. The words came fast. Instinctual. He wasn't sure when the mission stopped being about her. When it started being about them. Lyra leaned forward slightly. Do you believe me? About the satellite? About why I'm here? About who I am? He met her gaze. Saw the tiredness. The bruises that glowed beneath her skin. Saw someone who had been hunted for weeks. And still hadn't lashed out once. Yeah, he said. I believe you. A soft exhale escaped her lips. Not relief. Something deeper. Like she'd been holding her breath since the day she crashed. Suddenly, a faint hum filled the air. Distant. Mechanical. Cold. Cole jumped to the window. Through the tree line, high above, a small black drone was slicing the sky in a slow sweep. They're early, he muttered. What do we do? Lyra asked, standing. He turned to her. We run. Where? There's a mine tunnel half a mile east. Old, sealed off. Off-grid. We can lose them there. They moved fast. Cole ahead, Lyra right behind him, her steps barely making a sound. The forest blurred past them in streaks of green and brown. Every branch they brushed felt like a beacon. Then came the metallic chirp again. A different frequency. Louder. Closer. Another drone. Lyra suddenly winced and stumbled. Cole caught her before she hit the ground. You okay? They're machines. They emit a frequency. It scrambles our neural balance. I can't think straight. He pulled her arm over his shoulder. Then hold on to me. They reached the tunnel entrance. A rusted steel door hidden beneath roots and debris. Cole kicked it open, half dragging her inside as the forest screamed behind them with synthetic hums and motion alerts. Inside, the darkness swallowed them. Cole slammed the door shut. Silence. Only the sound of their breathing. Lyra sank to the floor, hand pressed to her temple. He lit a flare, warm orange glow washing over the walls and their faces. They'll find this place eventually, she said. Then we make sure we're not here when they do. She looked up at him, her voice trembling now. Why are you helping me, Cole? He didn't answer right away. He crouched beside her, handed her a flask of water, and said, because maybe, just maybe, we're not all monsters. Not if I have a choice. The mine tunnel was narrow, damp, and silent, a forgotten scar in the earth, long since abandoned by humans, but now sheltering two fugitives from different worlds. Cole's flare had burned out. He lit another, then wedged it into the wall bracket. The glow flickered against the rusted beams and rock walls. Lyra sat on a flat stone, legs folded, trying to center herself. Your machines are poison, she said softly. I know. We build things that kill better than we do, Cole muttered. We call it progress. She looked up at him with something close to sadness. And yet, you spared me. He didn't reply. He was pacing, checking corners, calculating time. The drone sweep had started early, which meant they were already flagged, which meant command would send someone next. Not just machines. Listen, he said, stopping in front of her. There's a checkpoint bunker 30 miles north. No satellite coverage. It's the best shot we've got, but it'll take 2 days on foot. And if they catch us before then, they won't. It was a lie, a hopeful one. But right now, hope was the only currency they had. Lyra stood slowly, bracing against the wall. I can walk. You sure? I've survived worse. As they stepped out of the mine, the first sound hit them. A distant crack, like thunder, but sharper. A sonic boom, then a low hum rolling across the trees. Shit, Cole breathed. What is it? They sent him. Lyra paused. Who? Major Randall. They call him the sweeper. When drones fail, they send him. No witnesses. No mercy. Her face didn't change, but something in her posture shifted, like a feline preparing for impact. He's not like you, is he? No, Cole said. He follows orders. They moved fast, pushing through a ravine, Cole keeping watch while Lyra navigated like she'd lived in the woods her entire life. Her senses were sharper than his. She could hear things he couldn't, feel disturbances in the air. It saved them twice already, but the third time it didn't. A red dot flickered on Cole's chest just as they hit the edge of a clearing. He dove sideways, pulling Lyra with him, just as a pulse round vaporized a tree trunk behind them. Run, he shouted. They sprinted through the underbrush, branches slashing at their arms. Another pulse hissed past them, searing bark and exploding into dirt. He's tracking us. Cole barked. I can disrupt him, Lyra gasped. But I'll need a moment. And something metal. Cole tossed her a combat knife from his belt. What are you going to do? Distract him. She turned and darted left, ducking behind a boulder. Lyra, but she was already moving, faster than she had before, more agile now, blending into the forest. A shimmer passed over her skin, like she was sinking with the trees themselves. Cole, meanwhile, ducked into a shallow ditch and readied his rifle. He saw a figure approaching through the trees, tall, broad-shouldered, military gear camouflaged to the environment, face half covered in an armored mask. Major Randall. Cole Mercer. The voice rang out, amplified through the mask. Step aside. This isn't your fight anymore. She's not hostile, Cole shouted back. She hasn't attacked anyone. She's trying to survive. That's not your call to make. You've disobeyed direct orders. Stand down now. Randall raised his pulse rifle, finger ready. Last chance, Cole. Then it happened. A pulse of green light exploded from behind the boulder. Not blinding, but disorienting. Like a wave of static had entered the air. Randall staggered, losing balance just long enough. Cole fired. Not to kill, to slow him. The round hit Randall's shoulder, spinning him sideways. He roared and fired back blindly, hitting a tree just inches from Cole's head. Lyra reappeared at Cole's side, panting, the knife glowing faintly in her hand. "He won't stay down," she said. "I know." They ran again, this time cutting through a creek bed, water splashing at their knees. Cole glanced back. Randall was already moving, bleeding but fueled by adrenaline and rage. "We can't outrun him forever," Lyra said. "We won't have to. There's a narrow ridge, half a mile up. He'll have to come single file. We make our stand there." Lyra's eyes widened. "You want to fight him? I want to buy us time. That's all." They reached the ridge, steep and rocky, with a sheer drop on one side. Cole crouched low, rifle aimed. Lyra stood beside him, breathing hard, fingers glowing faintly with the last of her neural charge. Randall appeared below, climbing slowly, methodically. "You don't have to do this," Cole called out. "Yes, I do," Randall shouted back. "And if you stand in my way, then what?" Cole snapped. "You'll kill me too? Is that the mission now?" Randall didn't answer. He just raised his weapon. That's when Lyra stepped forward. "Stop," she said. Her voice was calm. "Steady. If it's me you came for, then take me. Leave him." "Lyra, no," Cole whispered. "It's me they fear, not you. I won't let them take both." Randall hesitated, just for a second. Then Cole saw it. The micro twitch. The tell before he pulled the trigger. So Cole moved, tackled Lyra to the ground, just as the shot cracked through the air. A searing pain shot through his shoulder. He cried out, rolling over, gripping the wound. Lyra leaned over him, panic in her eyes, hands glowing again as she tried to slow the bleeding. Randall was climbing faster now. Cole's vision blurred. "Lyra," he gasped. "Go. Now. I'll hold him." "No," she said. "You saved me. I'm not leaving you." She placed her glowing hands over the wound. A surge of heat and light pulsed through him. It wasn't healing, not fully, but it was slowing the damage, stabilizing him. Then she turned to face the ridge. Alone, her body shimmered, eyes glowing brighter than before. She looked like a goddess of the forest, radiant and fierce, no longer just a survivor, but a protector. Randall crested the ridge and stopped. Even he hesitated. "You want me?" she said. "Come and take me." The moment froze. Lyra stood tall at the edge of the ridge, her arms spread slightly, glowing veins pulsing with light, her entire being humming like a live circuit. Below her, Major Randall had stopped moving. His rifle was still raised, but his stance was off. Not steady, not sure. Cole, still on the ground, bleeding but conscious, could only watch as two forces collided. The one he was raised to trust, and the one he chose to believe in. "Step away," Randall barked. "This is your final warning." "You keep saying that," Lyra said, her voice unshaken. "But I'm still here, and you're still afraid." Randall's grip tightened. "Don't test me." Lyra stepped forward. The ridge beneath her feet shimmered with every step she took, as if the forest itself was responding. "You want proof that I'm dangerous? You've already made your decision. So go ahead. Finish what you came to do." Cole tried to stand, gripping his side, pain flooding every nerve. "Lyra, don't." But she wasn't bluffing. She was surrendering, again. This time not out of fear, but out of defiance. Out of choice. "You came all this way to kill something you never try to understand," she said. "Why?" "Because you were told to." Randall didn't answer. His mask covered most of his face, but Cole could see the tension in his shoulders, the way his finger twitched near the trigger. Then Lyra said something unexpected, something that changed everything. "We were never here to invade. We came to warn you." A silence fell. Even the wind stopped. Randall lowered his weapon, just slightly. "Warn us of what?" he asked. "Something is coming. Not from us. From farther out. Farther than you've ever imagined. And we knew you weren't ready." Cole felt his pulse slow. Even through the haze of pain, those words cut deep. "You think I'm lying?" Lyra asked. "Then pull the trigger. Prove your species is exactly what we feared." Randall hesitated. Then he did something Cole never thought he'd see. He dropped the rifle. "You've got 1 hour," he said. "Then I report you both dead. I never saw you. You hear me?" Cole stared. "You're letting us go?" "Don't make me regret it," Randall growled. "And pray to whatever alien gods you've got that your warning isn't real." He turned, without another word, and disappeared back down the trail, his boots vanishing into the forest like a ghost retreating into the trees. Lyra exhaled, her entire body trembling as the glow faded. Cole reached for her. "You could have died," he said. "So could you." He laughed weakly. "Guess we're both idiots." She knelt beside him, hands hovering over his wound again. "You need rest," she said. "You're still bleeding internally." "I've had worse," he muttered. "You humans say that a lot. Does it make you feel stronger?" "It's either that or panic." She gave a faint smile. "Panic is honest." He looked at her, the weight of everything finally crashing down, the betrayal of command, the revelation of a larger threat, the quiet strength of the alien woman who had trusted him even when it made no sense. "What happens now?" he asked. "We keep moving," Lyra said. "You need shelter. And if your people believe I'm dead, we buy time." Cole nodded. She helped him up, one arm around her shoulders. Together, they hobbled down the ridge, leaving the confrontation behind, but not the consequences. As the sun set, painting the treetops in deep orange, Cole glanced at her again. "That thing you said about a bigger threat. It wasn't a bluff, was it?" "No," she said. "How long do we have?" Lyra looked up at the sky, then back at him. "If we're lucky, a year." Cole's throat tightened. "A year. Then we'd better start figuring out how to save the world," he said. "Not just the world," Lyra replied. "The species." They reached a grove of massive redwoods, roots forming a natural shelter. Lyra knelt, scanning the area with a pulse from her hand. A faint hum confirmed the space was secure. No drones, no trackers, no eyes. As Cole sank down against the trunk of a giant tree, exhausted and aching, Lyra sat beside him. Neither of them spoke for a while. The night sounds returned. Insects, wind, the distant call of an owl. It felt normal, but nothing was normal anymore. Cole broke the silence. "Why me? Why did I trust you?" she asked. He nodded. "Because when you looked at me," she said, "you didn't see a target. You saw someone trying to survive. Just like you." He looked down. "I didn't come out here to be a hero." "Good. Heroes die trying to impress stories. Survivors live to change them." She leaned her head against his shoulder, and this time, he didn't flinch. He let her stay. "If you've ever rooted for an impossible love, if you've ever believed that two people from different worlds could change each other and everything around them, then subscribe to the channel. There's a lot more where this came from." The redwoods stood silent as ever, ancient sentinels beneath a starlit sky. But inside the roots of one colossal tree, where Cole and Lyra now rested, the air felt charged, not with fear, but with the heavy weight of knowing too much. Cole's wound throbbed. Lyra had managed to slow the internal bleeding with her energy field, but he still felt every movement. He gritted his teeth as he adjusted himself, back pressed to bark, cold dirt beneath him. Lyra sat nearby, eyes half closed, legs crossed, her hands still faintly glowing, slowly recharging from the effort. The quiet wasn't peaceful. It was tense, like the earth itself was holding its breath. "You okay?" he asked. She opened her eyes slowly. "I've overdrawn. Healing you cost me a part of my core charge. Can you recover? If we make it a high-altitude sunlight tomorrow. Otherwise, I weaken." Cole looked away, jaw tightening. She had risked herself, again, for him. First by revealing the truth to Randall, then by using her own life force to save his. "You shouldn't have wasted energy on me," he said. "I didn't waste it." He looked at her. She meant it, but he also knew what came next. The drone network would eventually detect Randall's silence. They'd flag the sector, and this time, no one would come to negotiate. "We need to keep moving by sunrise," he said. "Your body won't allow that," she replied. "It doesn't have to allow it. It just has to obey." Lyra didn't smile at that. She studied him quietly. "Humans have strange definitions of strength," she said. "We lie to ourselves to get through things. Is that why you didn't kill me?" Cole didn't answer right away. He didn't have a clean reason. No mission logic. No grand moral code. Just a feeling. one that only got stronger with every hour they spent together. I didn't kill you because I saw myself in you, he finally said. Wounded. Alone. Surrounded by people who expect violence. Lyra's face softened, but behind her eyes, grief still lingered. Deep grief. He could see it now. Not just fear. Loss. You had others with you when you crashed, Cole said. Didn't you? She nodded slowly. 3. My bondmate, Micah, and 2 science watchers, Esau and Vren. They didn't make it. No. There was no emotion in her voice. Not because she didn't feel, but because she couldn't afford to let it surface. When the craft went down, we scattered. It was procedure. Stay mobile. Survive. But they weren't as fast. Your drones didn't hesitate. One was taken within the first 6 hours. She paused. Micah lasted 5 days. We lost connection, and I felt it. Cole felt something crack inside his chest. He knew grief. He knew loss. But this, being hunted on a planet that feared you for simply being? I'm sorry, he said. So am I. But now I have something they didn't. What's that? A human willing to fight beside me. She stood up, walked to the edge of the root shelter, and looked up through the canopy. Her voice dropped. They think I'm dead. Good. That gives us time. But time means nothing if we don't use it. Cole watched her, her silhouette bathed in moonlight. She looked like she belonged to another world. Not just in body, but in presence. A strange combination of warrior and wanderer. Something between ghost and hope. So what's the plan? He asked. You said there's a checkpoint bunker north of here. Still off satellite. Last I checked. We'll go there. But not to hide. She turned toward him. We go there to broadcast. Cole frowned. Broadcast what? The truth. He blinked. You want to tell them? About the threat? Yes. I've already collected over 60 hours of psychic records, visual and emotional fragments from our monitoring orbit. It's in my neural bank. If I can interface with your systems, we can transmit it, unfiltered, raw, to your networks. They'll shut it down the second it hits the air. Maybe, but maybe not fast enough. Cole's military instinct screamed at him. This was reckless, suicidal, but his heart, the part he thought had been burned out by years of obeying orders, felt something stir. You realize if we do this, we'll be fugitives forever. I already am. She took a few steps closer to him. But you still have a choice. He looked up at her, green eyes shimmering in the night, face worn but resolute. I made my choice the second I lower my weapon. They stared at each other in the dim glow of starlight. A silence hung between them, not empty, but alive. Then, in a moment neither planned, Lyra reached out and took his hand. Her touch was warm, not alien, not foreign, just real. Sleep now, she said softly. You'll need strength. Tomorrow, the world changes. Cole let his eyes close, her hand still in his. For the first time in days, maybe weeks, he felt safe. Not because the danger was gone, but because he wasn't facing it alone. The forest whispered above them. The stars looked on in silence. And somewhere, far beyond Earth's skies, something else was watching, waiting. The morning broke slow and pale. Mist clung to the forest floor, and dew glittered like stars in the underbrush. The temperature had dropped, and the earth exhaled the chill that crept through Cole's bones. He woke with stiffness in every joint and fire still burning in his shoulder. But what woke him fully wasn't pain. It was warmth. Lyra was asleep beside him, not close enough to touch, but close enough for him to hear her breathing, slow, rhythmic, controlled. Her skin shimmered softly in the morning light, the green of her body faintly reflecting the filtered sunbeams through the trees. She looked peaceful for the first time since he'd met her. Not on edge, not surviving, just resting. Cole sat up carefully, trying not to wake her, and checked the wound. Still tender, still dangerous, but holding. You're healing, came her voice, quiet, still thick with sleep. You're awake, he said. I don't sleep like humans. I'm always listening. She opened her eyes and sat up slowly, brushing leaves from her cloak. Her long green hair fell in front of her shoulders as she leaned forward and touched his side. Her fingers glowed for just a second. You're stable now, she said. But don't push it. Cole chuckled, wincing. That's like asking the sky not to rain. Lyra tilted her head, amused. We don't have weather idioms. Our worlds are more regulated. Sound boring. It was safe. until it wasn't. A pause. She looked down at her hands, and for the first time, her voice wavered. I didn't just lose my people, Cole. I lost my sense of place. My entire life was about observation, rules, knowledge. And then everything changed in a flash of fire and gravity. She looked up. You were a soldier. You've lost things too, haven't you? Cole didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached into his jacket and pulled out a faded photo, edges curled, ink bleeding. A woman and a boy, both smiling, both gone. Wife and kid, he said. Before my last deployment. Car accident. I wasn't there. Lyra took the photo gently, studying it. You carry them with you. Every day. That's why you saved me. He shook his head. No. I saved you because I didn't want to lose you too. Her eyes held his, full of something ancient and searching. Then, softly, you haven't. They packed what little they had. Canteens filled from the river, scavenged rations, and a thermal wrap Cole had torn into strips to reinforce Lyra's boots. She moved with fluid grace again, her strength returning with each hour of light. As they walked, the forest changed. Trees thinner, light stronger, air drier. They were climbing. Lyra stopped occasionally, placing her hands against the bark of trees, absorbing sunlight in tiny bursts. Her skin glowed, slightly more each time. You really are photosynthetic, Cole muttered. Our biology is designed for harmony with our planets, she said. Not conquest. That's the part we still don't get, he said. Human instinct is, if it's different, it's dangerous. You're different too, Lyra said, even among your kind. That caught him off guard. Why do you say that? Because you question things. You hesitate. You feel. I've seen what your kind does when fear leads the way. You chose something else. Cole took a breath. I used to follow orders like they were gospel, until I stopped believing in the mission. Too many times I saw us break the very things we claim to protect. And now I protect what's in front of me. Right here, right now. She smiled faintly. That's all any of us can do. They reached a ridge by mid-afternoon, a place where the land opened wide, revealing a view that stretched across forest, mountain, and sky. The air was thin, clean. The silence felt sacred. Lyra stopped and closed her eyes, arms slightly raised, palms up. A shimmer passed through her body, like light moving beneath the skin. She exhaled slowly. This is better, she whispered. I can feel the charge returning. You okay? Cole asked. Yes, but we'll need to move soon. If we're going to send the transmission, we'll need full signal strength, and full strength from me. How long do you need? She turned to him. 1 more hour. They sat side by side on the cliff, the wind tugging at their clothes, the world stretching endlessly below. Do you think they'll believe us? Cole asked. No, Lyra replied. Not at first. Then why try? Because even one voice can start a chain, and one human changed everything for me. She turned to him, her expression unguarded. You changed me. Cole's voice was quiet. You changed me first. He reached out, unsure, not to touch her, but just to close the space between them. She met him halfway. Their fingers laced together, skin against skin, human and alien, warmth and difference. But in that moment, no fear remained. No protocols. No past. Just connection. When I looked at you, he said, I didn't see alien. I saw someone lost. And I knew that feeling too well to turn away from it. I was trained not to feel, she said. To observe. To adapt. But I couldn't adapt what you did for me. I didn't know what to do with kindness that expected nothing in return. You do now. She nodded. The sun dipped lower. Shadows stretched across the ridge. Time was running out. We should get moving, Lyra said. The bunker's another hour west. Cole stood slowly, wincing. Can you manage the transmission? Yes. But once I start, they'll find us. Then we finish this before they get the chance. They began the descent, side by side, 2 fugitives walking toward a truth the world wasn't ready to hear. But their pace was steady. Their bond was real. And no matter what came next, war, salvation, silence, they would face it together. The bunker loomed ahead just as the last light of day bled into the sky, a concrete beast half swallowed by the hillside, covered in moss and time. It looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. That was the point. Cole had only been here once during training, when they drilled for total comms failure, and nuclear-level disruption. Back then, it was theory. Now it was survival. "We're here," he said, chest tight. "Once we enter, there's no going back." Lyra didn't hesitate. She walked forward, ran her fingers along the rusted access panel, then pressed 2 points within human precision. The door let out a deep metallic groan, like it didn't want to open, but did anyway. Inside, the air was stale metallic. The interior was intact. Rows of terminals, emergency power cells, and a massive reinforced broadcast dish aligned underground. "Will it work?" she asked. "If the core's still intact, yes." Cole moved fast, ignoring the pain in his shoulder. Lyra followed, already unsealing her cloak, revealing the neural interfaces beneath, long, silver filaments running along her arms and spine, glowing faintly now that she was fully recharged. "There's a direct uplink node here," she said, eyes scanning the dark. "I can connect to your systems without corrupting them. But once I send the transmission, it will activate a global relay signature, which means they'll find us within minutes." Cole swallowed hard. "Then we make every second count." She knelt beside the uplink terminal. Her fingers slid into the ports, and the machine came alive. Screens flickered. A low hum vibrated through the bunker floor. He watched as her body tensed, light pulsing through her skin in waves, like breathing energy. Data flowed. Images burst onto the screens. Star maps, records of alien transmission logs, fractured visuals of burning planets, and something else. Something worse. Cole stepped closer. "What is that?" Lyra's voice was strained. "It's what we came to warn you about. We call it a hollow." On screen, he saw it. A colossal, dark mass in space, absorbing light, devouring entire systems. No propulsion, no life signature, just hunger. Endless, cold hunger. "It doesn't conquer. It erases," she said. "It doesn't communicate. It feeds. And it's coming here, within the year. That's why we broke protocol. That's why we came early. But Earth's defenses aren't ready. Your people are too divided." Cole stared at the screens, heart racing. Fear burned in his chest. Not the kind he felt in battle. This was deeper, existential. How do we stop it? We don't. We survive it, hide from it, or we join. Join an alliance. My kind. Other systems. We've been preparing. But Earth needs to choose to be part of it. You're still isolated. Still arrogant. Cole took a shaky breath. "Then let's give them a choice." He activated the backup power to the relay. The tower began to rotate from underground, aligning with the nearest intact orbital array. Suddenly, a warning siren blared. "They found us," Lyra said. "On the monitors, inbound craft, 3 of them. Black, fast, no insignia. Military." Cole asked. "Worse. Suppression units." He grabbed his rifle, checked his last clip. 1 magazine. No grenades. 1 knife. "How long do you need?" 3 minutes. "You've got 2. He took position near the door as the platform outside shuddered from the first impact. Dirt and metal flew. Lights flickered. "Lyra, whatever happens, don't," she said, not looking at him. "If you say goodbye, you're already giving up." Then came the second explosion. The wall behind Cole cracked. 3 armored soldiers stormed in, masks down, pulse rifles raised. Cole didn't think. He moved. First shot down. Second, traded rounds. He was faster. Third, clipped his leg, but he knifed the soldier before he hit the floor. 1 minute left. Lyra shouted. Another blast. This one inside. A 4th figure entered. Not a soldier. A commander. Fully armored. No insignia. Moving like he wasn't there to arrest anyone. "Surrender the alien," the figure said, "or die with her." Cole stood in front of her. Already made that choice. The man raised his arm, a high-frequency pulse weapon glowing with red heat. Lyra screamed, not in fear, in warning. "No." Cole threw himself forward just as the shot fired. It hit him square in the back, launching him across the room. His vision exploded in white. Lyra broke connection with the terminal and ran to him, dragging his body back, hands glowing, panic etched in every movement. "Stay with me, Cole. Stay." He tried to speak, blood in his mouth. Did it go through? She checked the screen. Transmission complete. Her eyes flooded with tears. "Yes, you did it." He smiled faintly. "Told you. I follow through." The enemy commander raised his weapon again, but Lyra stepped in front of Cole, her entire body glowing now, overloaded, surging with alien light. You'll never touch him again. She unleashed it. A wave of energy, primal, bright, deafening, exploded from her chest. The walls cracked. The commander was thrown through concrete. Lights blew out. The monitors shattered. And then, silence. Lyra collapsed beside Cole, her glow fading, her body trembling. You're still alive, she whispered. You have to be. His eyes flickered open. He coughed once. Then again, still breathing. I'm not going anywhere. They lay there together on the floor of the ruined bunker, surrounded by sparks, smoke, and the scent of ozone. The world had changed. And now, it knew the truth. Smoke still drifted in thin wisps across the cracked floor of the bunker. The silence that followed the blast wasn't peaceful. It was hollow, like the earth itself was holding its breath after witnessing something it didn't know how to name. Cole lay on his back, eyes open, chest rising slowly. Every inch of his body screamed, but he was alive. Barely. Lyra sat beside him, his blood, on her hands, her arms, her face. But her expression was clear, focused. She wasn't panicking. She was choosing to stay in control, because he needed her to. We're not safe here anymore, she said softly. Cole's voice came out hoarse. We weren't supposed to survive that. We did. She reached down, helped him sit up. He winced, his entire back burning where the pulse weapon had hit, but he held it together. What about the transmission? He asked. Lyra walked to the shattered terminal, wires sparking, glass scattered across the floor. She knelt beside it, placed her hand on the melted panel, and closed her eyes. A glow returned, weaker than before, but steady. She opened her eyes again. It was sent, uncompressed. The whole thing. Star paths, records, threat visuals, DNA verification. Where did it land? Every major relay on the planet. Civilian, military, independent. So they all know now. She nodded. Whether they believe it or not is another story. Cole let out a shaky breath. They'll spin it. Say it's a hoax. A glitch. Government disinformation. Some will, but others won't. She turned to him. You gave them a chance to choose. That's all I ever wanted. A distant rumble echoed outside. Not a ship. Thunder. The first raindrops began to fall. Light at first, then heavier. It beat softly against the concrete and mud, like the world itself was cooling down after the fire. Cole leaned back against the wall. His ribs hurt. His vision still blurred around the edges. But something inside him had shifted, something deeper than pain. I don't think I can go back, he said. To command. To anything. My face is probably flagged on every satellite now. Traitor. Human sympathizer. Alien sympathizer. Whatever box they want to shove me in. Lyra knelt in front of him. Then don't go back. And go where? With me. The words hung between them like the air before lightning. You said Earth had a year, he said. Before that thing. The hollow arrives. Less, if your kind does nothing. Then I don't want to spend it hiding. I want to help. Lyra reached into a pouch in her cloak, pulled out a small disc, metallic, iridescent, covered in alien markings. There's a sanctuary. A hidden zone. Not on your maps. Deep forest, south of the Rockies. My people built it in case of mission collapse. If we can reach it, we can launch a beacon. To who? To the coalition. Off-world allies. They'll hear it, and they'll come. And if we don't make it, then at least we die trying to connect. Not running. Cole looked at the disc. Then at her. Then let's go. She smiled. Tired but real. You're still bleeding, she said. I'll keep bleeding later. He stood with her help. Every movement hurt, but the pain made it real. Made it worth it. They emerged from the bunker into the rain, the world around them soaked and quiet. The gunships were gone, for now. No drones. No command units. Just a forest. Wet and dark and alive. Cole took one last look at the bunker, the graveyard of their former selves. That part's done, he said. Lyra nodded. The next part is harder. I'm ready. They moved into the trees, the wet branches parting for them like a curtain to something new. They didn't speak much. They didn't need to. Between them, silence had become something sacred. Not the absence of words, but the presence of trust. Hours later, as night reclaimed the sky, They set camp in a deep hollow surrounded by ferns and moss. Lyra built a kinetic field to mask their location. Cole started a small fire, even though it made him nervous. "You really believe they'll come?" he said. "I believe someone will. Maybe not who we expect." He looked at her, firelight reflecting in her green eyes. "What happens after that? If Earth survives?" Lyra tilted her head. "Then maybe your kind learns to look at the stars without fearing what's out there. And us." She reached across the fire, took his hand again. "We'll be part of whatever comes next." The stars had returned. Above them, through the fractured tree canopy, the sky stretched wide and cloudless, a sea of quiet light, unmarred by drones or satellites. For the first time in days, the world didn't feel like it was closing in. It felt open. Cole sat with his back to a tree, arms resting on his knees, the fire between him and Lyra flickering low. His body still ached, ribs bruised, shoulder burning, but the silence around them was healing. It gave space for things that couldn't survive in chaos. Thought, memory, hope. Lyra was quiet, watching the fire as it danced across her eyes. She hadn't said much since they'd stopped, but her body was more relaxed. The tension that once lived in every breath she took was easing. Slightly. "Back at the bunker," Cole said finally. "When you stood in front of me, you didn't know I'd survive that blast." "No," she said, "but you still did it. Because you would have done the same." He nodded slowly. "I used to think sacrifice was something we did for the mission. For flags, orders, honor. And now I think it only means something when it's for a person, not a cause." She leaned toward him. "You gave me a reason to believe in humans again. And you gave me a reason to believe in anything again." They sat like that for a while. No more plans, no more strategy, just presence. Then Lyra said, softly, "Do you know what grief looks like in my kind?" Cole shook his head. "We don't cry. We don't collapse. We lose light. Light. Our neural bioluminescence fades. The body still functions, but the glow dims. When Micah died, mine almost went out." She looked down at her hands. "But after I met you, it came back." Cole stared at her for a moment, stunned into silence. "You gave me back the part of me I thought was gone forever," she said. "Not just light, choice. I wasn't just running anymore. I was choosing to live again." His throat tightened. He wanted to say something, but no words felt big enough for what was happening between them. Not love, not yet, but the beginning of something deeper. The kind of bond that didn't rely on shared biology or history. Just truth. "When this is all over," he said, "when the hollow comes, and the world has to decide who it wants to be, I want to face it with you." She nodded. "Then stay by my side. Whatever comes." A breeze swept through the trees, rustling the leaves. The fire cracked softly. "You know," he added with a half smile, "I never thought the most important person in my life would be someone who bleeds light and talks to trees." Lyra smirked. "And I never thought I'd trust a man who smells like gunpowder and stubbornness." They laughed, quiet, real, exhausted. Above them, a satellite blinked across the sky. Cole pointed up. "You think someone's watching that transmission?" "I hope so," Lyra said. "But even if they're not, it's out there now. We spoke the truth. That's the start of any change." He nodded. "I used to think changing the world was impossible. Now I think it just takes two people who refuse to run." She reached out. He met her hand halfway, and in that touch, there was no fear, no hesitation, just agreement, a shared vow, no more running. Tomorrow, they'd walk toward the sanctuary, maybe toward help, maybe toward war. But tonight belonged to them, not as soldier and alien, not as fugitives, but as two survivors who had found each other in the middle of a collapsing system and decided to rebuild something stronger than it. Together. 6 months later, the forest was gone, not burned, not destroyed, transformed. Where once stood wilderness now rose structures unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Grown, not built. Tall silver organic towers curved with plant-like elegance, pulsing faintly with soft, living light. Birds still nested in the branches. Rain still fell, but satellites no longer dared scan this zone. The humans called it the Green Sanctuary. Most still didn't know who created it, or how. Only that those who entered never spoke of what they saw. Inside, in the heart of the sanctuary, Cole sat on a curved bench of living stone, watching as Lyra activated a new relay node with just a touch of her fingers. She looked stronger now, brighter. Her bioluminescence no longer flickered. It flowed. Calm, steady. Cole's scars had faded, but not all of them. He still walked with a limp, still wore the same field jacket, but now it had a new symbol stitched into the sleeve. 2 stars orbiting a single flame. Their mark. The one they chose together. You think they'll come? He asked. They already have, Lyra said. She nodded toward the far ridge, where 3 figures stood, tall, in robes of shifting material, no faces visible. Coalition envoys. What do we tell them? That Earth is ready to listen. Cole looked back toward the tree. In the months since the transmission, humanity had splintered. Some governments called it propaganda. Others declared martial law to prepare for the incoming threat. But a third group, scattered, growing, had reached out to the sanctuary. Scientists, soldiers, refugees, artists, people tired of fighting shadows, people ready to change. We started something, Cole said. No, Lyra replied. We became something. What? Proof. She turned to him fully. Proof that love can override fear. That species can share trust. That survival doesn't have to mean erasing what's different. He stepped closer. You know this still isn't over. It never will be. But we're not alone anymore. He smiled. Not because everything was fine, but because they were still standing. And us? He asked. She took his hand. We keep walking, side by side, until the stars stop burning. They stood there for a moment, not as fugitives, not as leaders, but simply as 2 beings who had chosen each other. The sanctuary shimmered behind them, and far above Earth's sky, the stars pulsed, no longer symbols of fear, but of possibility. Like this story, got questions about the Hollow, the Coalition, or what happens next between Cole and Lyra? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you believe in impossible love, alien truths, and the power of one choice to change everything, subscribe. There's a lot more coming.